What would you do if you walked in on this? Hit like if you've ever been betrayed and comment below where you're watching from. The sound of a shattered glass echoed through the marble-floored living room of a luxury mansion in Lekki Phase 1. The chandelier trembled slightly as Miriam Oladipo stood frozen by the doorway, her trembling hands still gripping the tray of fresh fruit she had brought for her son and his wife. Before her eyes, her only son, Kevin Oladipo. The boy she had raised with prayers, sacrifices, and sleepless nights was passionately kissing his wife. Vanessa were on the couch, but not in a way that showed love. It was desperate, dark, and frantic. Between their heavy breaths, Miriam caught fragments of words that made her blood run cold. "Once she signs the will, we end it," Vanessa whispered. Kevin smirked. "She's already too weak. By next week, the estate will be ours." The tray dropped from Miriam's hand with a loud clang. Both heads turned sharply toward her. "Mama?" Kevin's voice cracked. "You shouldn't be up." Her voice was low but steady. "So this is how you two plan to kill me?" The silence that followed was suffocating. Outside, Lagos traffic hummed faintly, horns blaring from distant streets. Inside, the betrayal was thick enough to choke. Vanessa recovered first, her face hardening into the cold mask Miriam had always feared. "You weren't supposed to hear that, Mama. But now that you have, maybe it's better this way." Kevin reached forward, panic spreading across his face. "No, Vanessa, stop talking." But the damage was done. Miriam staggered backward, clutching her chest. "Kevin, your own mother?" Her son looked away. "It's not what it looks like." "It's exactly what it looks like," she spat, tears brimming in her eyes. "You've let greed destroy your soul." Vanessa's lips curled. "Greed? You've kept this family fortune locked under your name for decades. You treat us like children. We deserve our share." Miriam tried to speak, but her knees buckled. The room spun. Kevin caught her before she hit the floor, his face pale and trembling. "Mama, I didn't mean for it to go this far." But Vanessa's voice cut through the chaos like a blade. "If she dies now, it's cleaner. No questions, no scandal." Kevin's head snapped toward her. "Are you insane?" "Think about it," Vanessa hissed. "She's old, she's sick. Everyone will believe it." Miriam's breath came shallow, her vision fading. She felt her son's hand slip from hers. That night, the Oladipo mansion was eerily silent. By morning, the headlines screamed across Lagos tabloids. "Business tycoon's mother dies in her sleep. Family in mourning." Kevin and Vanessa wept for the cameras, dressed in black lace and designer sunglasses, as condolences poured in. Their crocodile tears gleamed under the harsh sun of the family compound. Within weeks, the will was read. The fortune, real estate, offshore accounts, luxury cars, transferred to Kevin and Vanessa. They celebrated privately, champagne glasses clinking over the marble counter. Vanessa's diamond earrings sparkled as she whispered, "Finally freedom." Kevin hesitated, glancing at his mother's framed photo on the wall. "She didn't deserve that," he murmured. Vanessa slid her arms around his neck. "Don't grow a conscience now, darling. The dead don't come back." But outside, as thunder rolled across the Lagos sky, an old family friend stood at the gate, clutching a letter, one written by Miriam herself the night before she died. And what was written inside would tear everything apart. "Don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications for more gripping African marriage dramas." What do you think was in Miriam's letter? Comment below. Rain battered the windshield as Chica, Miriam's longtime friend and church sister, sat in her old Toyota Corolla outside the Oladipo mansion. She clutched the damp envelope tightly in her hand. The name written across it in Miriam's familiar handwriting read, "To my son Kevin, open only when your heart can still feel." She hesitated, watching the mansion gates glint under the rain. Men in black security uniforms stood watch, their faces stern. The Oladipo family's mourning banners still fluttered near the driveway, though the fake sadness had already faded from the house. Inside, Kevin sat in his home office, an air-conditioned palace of dark wood and chrome. His fingers tapped against the polished desk as Vanessa paced behind him, scrolling through her phone. She wore a satin robe, the same color as the wine she sipped carelessly. "Have you seen the press release?" she said. Everyone thinks you're a devoted son. We've played it perfectly." Kevin didn't answer. His eyes were fixed on the family portrait above the desk. Him, Vanessa, and his mother smiling faintly at the last Christmas dinner. A knot formed in his throat. "Vanessa," he murmured, "maybe we should donate something in her name. Just to ease things." She turned sharply. "Don't start with guilt again. We did what we had to do. It's over." But it wasn't. Moments later, a soft knock came at the door. The housemaid entered, dripping from the rain. "Sir, someone is here to see you. She says she's your mother's friend." Kevin frowned. "Now? Tell her to come back tomorrow. She says it's urgent. She has a letter." At the word letter, Vanessa froze mid-step. Her eyes darted to Kevin's. "What letter?" Kevin shrugged. "I don't know." "Then go find out," she hissed. In the living room, Chica stood with her umbrella folded at her feet, her soaked wrapper clinging to her frame. "Kevin," she said quietly, her eyes filled with a mixture of sorrow and accusation. "Before your mother died, she gave me this. She told me if anything happened to her suddenly, I must bring it to you myself." Kevin took the envelope slowly. The paper was fragile, slightly stained with oil, and the faint scent of Miriam's favorite perfume, lavender and shea butter. His chest tightened. Chica's voice trembled. "She told me she felt something wasn't right in that house?" Vanessa interrupted sharply. "Thank you for your concern, Mama Chica, but we're still grieving. You can leave the letter. We'll handle it." Chica's eyes narrowed. "I will leave it. But remember, truth doesn't die just because someone stops breathing." She left without another word, slamming the door behind her. The echo lingered. Kevin's hands shook as he tore open the envelope. Inside was a single folded sheet, handwritten in Miriam's elegant cursive. "My son. If you are reading this, then my fears have come true. I know about your wife's plan. I know the poison was meant for me. But I forgive you. I have made arrangements, records, documents, and a confession left with my lawyer. If my death is not natural, the truth will surface. A mother's love never dies, Kevin, even in betrayal." "Mom." Kevin's jaw tightened. Vanessa snatched the letter and skimmed through it, her expression twisting into panic. "What does she mean by documents? With her lawyer? Did she—" Before she could finish, the power flickered off. The mansion fell into darkness. A clap of thunder rolled across the lagoon. Kevin rose slowly, his heart pounding. "She knew, Vanessa. She knew everything." Vanessa gripped his arm. "Then we have to act fast. We can't let anyone find those papers." Kevin stared into the darkness, lightning flashing across his face. "You said it was over, Vanessa. But what if it isn't?" And at that moment, outside the mansion, a woman's silhouette stood under the rain near the gate, dressed in black, watching the house with eyes that burned like vengeance. Comment your thoughts below. Do you think Miriam is really dead? Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more shocking African marriage revenge stories. The next morning, the Lagos sun rose over Lekki's glittering skyline. But inside the Oladipo mansion, shadows still clung to every corner. Kevin barely slept. The letter from his late mother lay open on his desk, its words gnawing at his conscience. Vanessa stormed into the study, her silk robe dragging across the polished floor. "Kevin, you're still brooding over that nonsense. It's just words. She's gone." Kevin looked up, his eyes red from exhaustion. "What if she isn't?" Vanessa scoffed. "Don't start with superstitions. Miriam is dead. We buried her." He leaned forward, voice low. "Then why did Chica say my mother suspected something? Why did she give that letter to her lawyer?" Vanessa crossed her arms, glaring. "We're not letting one old woman ruin what we've built. Call her lawyer. Offer him money if you have to." Kevin nodded slowly, but his stomach twisted with dread. Moments later, his phone buzzed. Unknown number. Hesitant, he answered. "Hello." A soft, raspy voice came through the line. "Kevin." He froze. "Who is this?" "It's me," the voice said. "Your mother." The phone slipped from his hand and clattered to the floor. Vanessa picked it up. "Who is this?" she demanded, but the line had already gone dead. They stood in silence, staring at each other, both too terrified to speak. Outside, the gardener's radio played faint high-life music, a cruel reminder of how normal the world still was. Kevin finally spoke, his voice trembling. That sounded like her. Vanessa's jaw tightened. It's a prank. Someone's trying to scare us. Maybe Chica. But deep inside, even she didn't believe that. Later that day, as Kevin drove to his late mother's lawyer's office in Victoria Island, he couldn't shake the image of the grave. How the coffin had been sealed. How cold the ground had looked. A thought, horrifying but unstoppable, flashed through his mind. What if she wasn't dead when they buried her? He arrived at the office, a sleek glass building overlooking the lagoon. Inside was Barrister Ease, Miriam's longtime lawyer, adjusted his glasses and motioned for Kevin to sit. Mr. Oladipo, he began, his voice calm. Before your mother passed, she instructed me to deliver certain documents to you, only if I suspected foul play in her death. Kevin's heart pounded. Foul play? Issa opened a folder. Your mother transferred all her offshore assets to a hidden account. The will you saw wasn't her final one. She updated it 2 days before she died. Kevin's mouth went dry. That's impossible. We already... She also left a recorded statement, the lawyer said, pulling out a small flash drive. Would you like to hear it? Kevin hesitated. His palms were slick with sweat. Play it. Ease inserted the flash drive into his laptop. The screen lit up. Miriam appeared, her face calm but her eyes full of sorrow. If you are watching this, my son, I pray your heart hasn't turned to stone. Vanessa has poisoned your mind against me, but I forgive you both. The truth will come out, Kevin, and when it does, may you find your way back to the light. Kevin's face crumpled. He buried his head in his hands. Just then, Barrister Ease's secretary burst into the room, her face pale. Sir, you need to see this. Now! They rushed to the window. Outside on the street, a crowd had gathered around a woman in a black veil, walking slowly with a cane. She says she's Miriam Oladipo, the secretary whispered. She says she's come back for her son. Kevin staggered backward, his breath shallow. Vanessa's voice echoed in his mind. The dead don't come back, but she had. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications for more shocking African revenge dramas. Comment your thoughts below. Is this really Miriam, or something darker? The news spread through Lagos like wildfire. Business tycoon's mother returns from the dead. Family in shock. By evening, the story was trending across social media. Hashtags like Miriam returns and Oladipo scandal filled Twitter and Instagram. News vans parked outside the mansion gates. Every gossip blog in Nigeria had the same burning question. How could a woman declared dead be walking the streets alive? Inside the mansion, chaos reigned. Vanessa paced the living room, her phone glued to her ear. I don't care what it costs. Take that post down. No, don't verify anything. Just delete it, she screamed before hanging up. She turned to Kevin, who sat silently on the couch staring at the TV. Every channel showed the same shaky footage. Miriam, frail but unmistakably alive, stepping out of a black SUV, surrounded by police escorts and reporters. Kevin, say something, Vanessa hissed. She's supposed to be dead. What is happening? Kevin's voice was hollow. I saw her face, Vanessa. That was her. I don't know how, but it was her. Vanessa's composure cracked. You buried her yourself. You signed the papers. You watched the coffin go into the ground. I know what I did, Kevin muttered, rubbing his temples. And maybe that's why she's back. A knock thundered through the house before either could speak again. The housekeeper opened the door and gasped. Standing there in a black lace gown, head covered with a shawl, was Miriam Oladipo herself. The color drained from Vanessa's face. Her wine glass slipped from her hand, shattering on the floor. Mama, Kevin whispered, rising to his feet. Miriam stepped inside slowly, her eyes scanning the opulent space she had once called home. I see you redecorated, she said softly. Her voice was calm but carried a weight that made the air thick. New curtains? New lies. Kevin stumbled forward. Mama, I thought you were dead, she finished for him, her tone sharp. You hoped I was. Vanessa's eyes darted between them. This isn't possible. You died. Miriam turned to her. You tried to make sure I did. The silence that followed was suffocating. Even the rain outside seemed to pause. Finally, Miriam sank into the nearest armchair, removing her veil. Her once smooth face now carried the faint scars of suffering, but her eyes burned brighter than ever. They poisoned my tea, she said simply, but the dosage was wrong. It paralyzed me, not killed me. The doctor you bribed was a coward. He declared me dead without checking my pulse properly. Kevin's knees weakened. Mama, I swear I didn't. Enough, she cut in sharply. Don't lie to me, Kevin. I heard everything that night. Vanessa stepped forward, trembling but defiant. If you're really alive, then prove it. You can't just walk in here and accuse us without evidence. Miriam smiled thinly. Oh, I have evidence. Every transaction, every call, every message between you and that doctor. I left copies with Barrister Ease. Kevin's eyes widened. The lawyer? Yes, Miriam said coldly. He's already handed them to the police. Vanessa's mouth fell open. You can't do this. We'll lose everything. Miriam rose, her frail body shaking slightly, but her voice steady as steel. You already lost everything the night you killed your own conscience. The sound of sirens grew louder outside. Blue and red lights flashed through the window curtains. Kevin turned to Vanessa in panic. You said no one would find out. Vanessa's voice broke. I didn't know she'd live. As police footsteps echoed at the gate, Kevin grabbed his mother's hands. Please, Mama, don't let them take us. I'll confess. I'll fix this. Miriam looked at him, her face softening just a fraction. You can't fix a grave, Kevin. Outside, the police knocked hard on the door. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more emotional African betrayal stories. Comment below, should Miriam forgive her son or let the law take its course? The Oladipo mansion was no longer a home. It was a war zone of whispers, tension, and guilt. The police had left after questioning, but the scandal refused to die. News outlets replayed Miriam's shocking return every hour, while neighbors whispered behind closed gates. Kevin sat in the dark study, staring blankly at the floor. His empire was crumbling. Investors had begun pulling out from his real estate company, clients were backing off, and his name, once a symbol of prestige, had become a stain in the Lagos business world. Vanessa stormed in, still wearing her designer nightgown, eyes blazing. You're just sitting here? Do something. The press is eating us alive. Kevin didn't move. Do what, Vanessa? She's alive. She has evidence. The police know everything. What do you want me to do, kill her again? Vanessa slammed her hand on the desk. If that's what it takes, yes. Kevin's eyes snapped up, horrified. You're insane. No, I'm smart, she hissed. You think crying and confessing will save you? The moment you talk, we both go to prison. Do you think your precious mother will forgive you? She's out for revenge, Kevin. Don't be naive. He stood up, pointing at her. You poisoned her, not me. And who poured the tea? She shot back coldly. He froze. Vanessa stepped closer, lowering her voice. You're just as guilty as I am, so stop pretending you're the victim. Kevin turned away, his chest heaving. I can't do this anymore. Oh, you'll do it, Vanessa said, her voice dripping with venom. Because without me, you're nothing. Remember that. Outside, Miriam sat quietly in the guest house at the back of the compound. The police had allowed her to stay temporarily for protection while the investigation continued. Her frail hands held a rosary, lips moving silently in prayer. There was a gentle knock at the door. She looked up. Come in. Kevin entered slowly, his face pale. For a moment, he just stood there, staring at the mother he had betrayed. Then his voice broke. Mama, I'm sorry. Miriam studied him in silence. Sorry doesn't undo the grave you dug for me. Tears filled his eyes. I didn't want to hurt you. Vanessa pushed me. I was weak. That's the problem with weakness, she said softly. It lets evil borrow your hands. Kevin knelt before her. Tell the police it was her. I'll testify. I'll give you back everything. Just, please don't destroy me completely. Miriam sighed, her expression unreadable. You destroyed yourself the moment you forgot who you were. But maybe, just maybe, you can still save what's left of your soul. Kevin looked up, desperate. How? Tell the truth, publicly, before she does. He hesitated. Vanessa will never forgive me. She never loved you, Kevin, Miriam whispered. She loved the money. As Kevin left the guest house, his phone buzzed. A message from an unknown number flashed on the screen. If you expose me, I'll take you down with me. Remember the CCTV footage from that night? His hands trembled. Vanessa had kept proof. Meanwhile, inside the mansion, Vanessa was on a video call with a man in a dimly lit office. His name was Hamun, Dr. Musa, the same doctor who had declared Miriam dead. I warned you she wasn't fully gone, he muttered nervously. Now she's talking. You both promised me protection. You'll get it, Vanessa said coldly. But I need you to fix your mistake, permanently this time. He stared at her, horrified. You mean? Yes, she interrupted, her tone sharp as glass. Tonight. As she ended the call, Vanessa looked out the window toward the faint light from the guest house where Miriam prayed. Her reflection in the glass smiled coldly. The dead can't come back twice. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications for more thrilling African revenge stories. Comment your thoughts. Will Vanessa succeed this time, or will karma finally catch her? The night air in Lekki was thick with tension. Crickets chirped somewhere in the dark, and the hum of distant traffic echoed like a warning. Inside the guest house, Miriam Yustrokorni sat by the window, softly humming an old Yoruba hymn. The candlelight flickered against her worn face, casting long shadows that danced across the wall. She felt it, the strange chill, the unease in her chest. After all, a woman who had escaped death once learned to listen to her spirit. At that same moment, in the main house, Vanessa Blasca stood before a mirror, adjusting her black silk robe. Her phone buzzed. A single message appeared from Dr. Musa. I'm outside. Make sure she drinks the tea this time. Vanessa's lips curved into a faint, sinister smile. Oh, I will. She poured a clear liquid from a small vial into a flask of tea and stirred it carefully. The poison disappeared instantly. This time, she whispered, no mistakes. Downstairs, Kevin Yu was asleep on the couch, an empty bottle of whiskey beside him. He stirred restlessly, haunted by his mother's voice from the night before. Tell the truth before she does. He awoke suddenly, heart racing. The house was too quiet. Something felt wrong. Meanwhile, Vanessa walked slowly toward the guest house, her footsteps silent on the cobblestone path. She pushed the door open gently. Miriam looked up, startled. Vanessa, what are you doing here at this hour? Vanessa smiled, her voice sweet but cold underneath. I came to make peace, Mama. I brought you tea. You haven't slept, and I owe you an apology. Miriam studied her for a moment, sensing the false calm in her tone. Still, she gestured for her to sit. Peace, you say? That's a heavy word coming from you. Vanessa sat and placed the steaming cup on the small table. Please, Mama, just drink. Let's forget everything. I don't want this fight anymore. Miriam's eyes didn't leave her face. You think forgiveness comes in a cup? Vanessa forced a smile. Sometimes it does. Miriam reached for the cup, but stopped halfway. Her gaze hardened. You first. Vanessa blinked. Excuse me? Drink first, Miriam repeated. If it's peace, we share it. For a moment, the room was silent, except for the sound of the ticking wall clock. Vanessa's fingers twitched. Her throat tightened. I'm not thirsty. Miriam's voice was calm but cutting. Then don't offer me death dressed as forgiveness. Vanessa's mask cracked. You can't prove anything. I don't need to, Miriam said quietly. The cameras will. Vanessa froze. What cameras? Miriam pointed upward. Hidden near the rafters was a small blinking red light. The police installed them for my protection. They've been watching this house since the night I returned. Vanessa's face drained of color. You're lying. Miriam stood slowly, her frail form steady as stone. You underestimated a mother's wisdom. You tried to bury me twice. This time, you'll bury your freedom instead. Before Vanessa could react, bright headlights flashed through the window. Police sirens blared outside. Kevin, now sober and shaking, had called them moments earlier after discovering the poison vial hidden in Vanessa's purse. The door burst open, and officers flooded the room. Vanessa screamed, "Kevin, you betrayed me!" He stood behind them, eyes full of pain. "I betrayed my mother once. Never again." As officers handcuffed Vanessa, she struggled violently. "You'll regret this, Kevin. Without me, you're nothing." Miriam turned away, her tears silent but steady. Kevin sank to his knees. "Mama, I've lost everything." She looked at him, her voice trembling but firm. "No, my son. You've only lost what was never truly yours." As Vanessa was dragged away screaming into the night, the sound of thunder rolled once more across the Lago sky, the same way it had the night Miriam died. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications for more gripping African marriage dramas. Comment your thoughts. Should Miriam forgive Kevin or let him face justice too? 2 weeks later, the Oladipo mansion stood silent behind its tall white walls. The once bustling home that hosted business dinners and lavish parties now echoed with emptiness. The only sound was the soft rustle of the palm trees swaying outside and the distant hum of Lagos traffic. Inside, Kevin Oladipo sat at the dining table, staring at the newspaper spread before him. Vanessa Oladipo charged with attempted murder. Billionaire husband faces inquiry over mother's poisoning. His name was everywhere, his face on every blog and headline. His company shares had plummeted, business partners had vanished, and the world now saw him as a monster. He ran a shaky hand over his face. "Mama, how do I come back from this?" A quiet voice answered from behind him. "By standing up in truth." He turned. Miriam stood at the doorway, wrapped in a simple white lace wrapper and headscarf. Her frail frame carried an unshakable calm that filled the room. Kevin rose immediately, guilt clouding his eyes. "Mama, I know I don't deserve to face you. I failed you in every way a son could." She walked slowly toward him. "You didn't fail me, Kevin. You failed yourself." He swallowed hard. "I'm ready to face the law. I'll tell them everything. The money, the poison, everything. I don't care if I lose it all." Miriam nodded slowly. "Good, because real freedom doesn't come from what you keep. It comes from what you confess." He looked at her, tears filling his eyes. "I don't expect forgiveness." "I already forgave you," she said softly. "That night, when you left me to die, I begged God to keep your soul from darkness, even as my body went cold. I prayed he'd give you a chance to change." Kevin dropped to his knees, his sobs breaking through the heavy silence. Miriam reached out, gently resting a hand on his head. "Get up, my son. You've knelt enough for guilt. Now kneel for mercy." She helped him stand and handed him a folded paper. "This is a statement I gave to the police this morning. It clears you of intent to kill. You were led astray, and I told them so." Kevin stared at her, stunned. You cleared me." "I cleared your name, not your conscience," Miriam replied. "The rest is between you and God." There was a long pause. Then Kevin asked quietly, "What about Vanessa?" Miriam's eyes dimmed. "The law will take its course. She made her bed with greed. Let her lie in it." Later that afternoon, Kevin drove Miriam to her church in Yaba. The compound was alive with soft singing and the smell of incense. As they walked to the entrance, people whispered and pointed. "The woman who returned from the dead." Miriam only smiled faintly. "Let them talk. My story isn't about revenge. It's about resurrection." Kevin looked at her, confused. "Resurrection?" "Yes," she said, turning to face him. "Not of my body, of my purpose. I came back so you could find yours." He nodded slowly, emotion choking his throat. "I will, Mama. I promise." They embraced under the church's arched doorway, sunlight pouring over them through stained glass windows. As the choir's voices swelled, Miriam whispered her final words. The devil uses betrayal to destroy families, but God uses truth to rebuild them. Kevin closed his eyes, tears streaming down his cheeks. For the first time in months, he felt peace, not the peace of riches or reputation, but the quiet peace of redemption. Outside, a soft breeze carried the distant sound of Lagos life, buses, horns, laughter. And for the Oladipo family, life was beginning again, not with wealth, but with forgiveness. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share this powerful African family drama with someone who believes in redemption after betrayal. What lesson did you take from this story? Comment below.